York. Blijft u alsjeblieft nog even zitten. Zodra de verlichting stoelriemen vast uit is, verlaat u het vliegtuig.
So I was basically watching a YouTube video, and the person in the video was talking about how much has changed over the last year of their life, and it really made me think about my own life and how much has changed for myself. Last year, March 2022, was really a catalyst in a lot of things changing, at least for me in my life. So it's March 2023 now, and I'm just amazed. Like, if last year at this time you kind of told me what was ahead, I don't know if I would believe, and also I'm not sure that I would have been able to brace myself for it. Like, it kind of just had to unfold the way that it did, in the time frame that it did, because you're not ready until you're ready. And sometimes you get like thrusted into situations in life, or you take a particular path and you kind of go in a direction that you hadn't really anticipated. And I felt it, like that a new season was coming and that certain things would be changing in my life, but I just couldn't visualize like what it would look like. So yeah, it's kind of even in the video that I had posted around that time, if not directly in March, one that came maybe in April, where I was like, it's a transition season, you feel changes coming before you see them happening. And man, what a like roller coaster it has been over the last 12 months. I don't know that I would change anything, because I guess it just unfolded the way that it was supposed to. And I, despite sometimes like kind of getting up and looking around and being like, how did I get here? I do see it as where I'm supposed to be at this particular time in my life. Just trying to embrace it and rely on God wholly and solely, because I haven't made the plan for my life. I have ideas and thoughts and dreams and hopes and wishes, but ultimately, if you're a believer, you read in the Bible and see that He has plans for you. He gives you talents, and He knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb, as it says. So I'm just trusting Him that I'm right where I'm supposed to be, and I'm going exactly where I'm supposed to go, and I'm on the right path, and I'm heading in the right direction, and that everything that has happened leading up to this was exactly what needed to happen in the way that it happened, involving the people that were there for a particular reason. And there was a word my mom used last March, after that Kenya trip. So she was talking about a comment that someone said on the trip to me, one of my colleagues, but a very senior colleague, and the woman essentially pointed out, like, she was kind of making assessments of everyone who was on the trip unsolicited, and she was telling me that I was too modest. And at the time I took it a bit like maybe in the wrong way, but maybe I was supposed to take it the way that I did at that time, because after that colleague said that to me, it was like it opened the floodgates. And it's not just that particular comment, but it was a series of events leading up to the trip, the events on the trip, the events after the trip, but that comment in particular that stuck in my head, that just made me kind of reevaluate like my approach to life and to people and to work, and just where I was at life in that time and whether it felt right and all these different things. Anyway, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Not that I was offended or anything by her calling me modest. Modesty is a good trait to have in certain circumstances, but I think it made me realize that, because I am assertive, but I have a calm approach to things, and I really value like personal space, privacy, and I'm not like into super emotional situations, or I try not to be like super emotional. So in those sorts of things, I kind of like maybe shy away a bit, but there are moments where you need to like show up as your full self and really be out there, even if that's not always your thing. And I do it, but I do it in environments that I feel like are safe spaces, and not like, oh, safe like my comfort zone, but where the dynamic is right. And there was a lot of things that were wrong on that trip in Kenya that really were so off-putting and made me so uncomfortable that it was just, like the friction between colleagues and the dynamic wasn't right, and just a lot of pressure and disagreements and tension. It was just a lot. So it really kind of made me withdraw during the trip, but she read that as modesty, even though that's not exactly what it was. Anyway, this video is not about that. I just highlighted that to point out that her comment was basically the first snowball in an avalanche of, just a change that was coming, a path that was clearing, and a new direction that I was supposed to be going in. And so many things happened after that. Now spending a bit of time in New York, going back and forth between New York and Amsterdam for the next few months, and then really moving fully back to New York and settling in and building up my life here. I was having a conversation with someone who moved back from London about 5 years ago, and she was saying that she realized it's actually harder, maybe not for everyone, but for some people, to move back home than it is to move to a new place. And I agree with that to some extent, because when you move abroad, like, you're open for anything almost. Like, you're really like, I'm here to have new experiences. I know no one. I have no identity in this new place, essentially. But when you move back home, you're kind of coming back expecting things to be, to some extent, the way they were before you left. You're also expecting that whatever identity you had while you were there, you'll just slide back into that. But you don't, because you've changed while you were away. The people that you knew back when you were at home changed while you were away, and circumstances are completely different. And you come back and you're a little bit like trying to find your feet in a place that should be familiar for you, which is more jarring than trying to find your feet in a place that's completely brand new. So been adapting to that experience. Every character building experience ends up kind of putting some weight on you, emotionally or mentally, just because the experience would have been challenging, and it helped you to grow. But it's like muscles, you don't grow them unless you put pressure on them and you lift the weight and whatever it is you need to do, like exercise that area. But the difference between the muscles that you build from working out and the mental strength you build from character building is that comes with a bit of emotional baggage. Or if you're not like emotional about what happened, you end up being a bit detached and you see situations and people in the world in a slightly different way, and you can never really go back from there. But it's okay, because I think part of growing up is kind of shedding a bit of our naivety. However, I think you do have to maintain some naivety and optimism to really continue doing anything in the world, and to pursue your dreams, and to build relationships with new people, but also strengthen relationships with the existing people that you know. I think it was sort of a wake-up call for me to be, I've always been assertive. I've always been a determined person, go-getter, and I see what I want and I'm like, I'm not gonna stop till I get there. Not in a like a crazy sort of scary way, but in a focused, like driven kind of way. So realizing that I needed to be assertive in a different way was a bit like, wait, but I'm already assertive. I've already gotten what I, set out to do in life to a large extent. A lot of the things that I put my mind to. But I think what was different about this time is that I needed to be assertive in accepting that maybe what I thought I wanted historically is not what I want anymore, and that I shouldn't be so comfortable in everything that I've built up that I'm resistant to change. You want to have a different life and different results and experiences, you can change and you have to. And although I've gone through many different metamorphoses and evolutions throughout my life, I realized that it will continue, because that is the nature of life. It's about change and growth and expansion. And as soon as you understand that, you get less sentimental and less attached to things, situations, even some people. Like, seasons exist for a reason, and you have to be alert and aware of when a particular season in your life is changing or coming to an end, or you yourself need to change to get different results from what you've experienced before. So anyway, I was getting to the last point. Back in March 2022, when I got that comment about me being modest and the way that it triggered everything that happened thereafter, or triggered the chain of events that happened thereafter, my mom said to me that she was talking to one of her friends about it, and her friend said the lady who, made the comment to me was like a conduit. And it's not a word that I use very often, or ever really, but it was such a specific word. And when I gave it thought and I refreshed my memory on what does it mean to actually be a conduit? It's like a vessel. It's like an entryway. It's like the path, the tunnel. It was like a catalyst, essentially. So, and even though at the time I was like, okay, what does this mean? And what is everything that's happening in the bigger scheme of my life? I can look back now, almost 12 months later, and just be like, I get it. I also don't get it, but I, for the most part, get it. And I think there's more for me to understand and learn and grow in before I can see the bigger picture of it. But truly, as I always say, our lives are like puzzles, and only God knows what the complete puzzle looks like. And we just get little pieces each time that we build upon to make a clearer picture. And that's why we have to be open and flexible, and also discerning about what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong, what's suitable, and what is most meaningful for us and our journey and our lives here. But also, I think whatever each individual believes in, I think that it's really important to tap into that and lean on it and lean on God, because otherwise you just be out here going through the world and life without a GPS or a navigation system. And God is the one, even if he doesn't say it out loud every time. Sometimes it's just a nudge, sometimes it's just a sign, a hint, a little voice or something you hear, somewhere in your heart or deep within on the next step. So you might not say out loud, turn right, or go 100 meters and then make a U-turn, or however your GPS typically works. God might not be that obvious in the way that he communicates to us, but he is with us and he is guiding us along. And that GPS is essentially the compass on the inside of us, and it's the relationship that we have with him that helps us to make sense out of things when we don't have the bigger picture. And, looking forward to providing more updates on how things are going and just how it is to be back at home. So leave it here for now. You see the birds? They want to be all quiet now when they were making so much noise earlier. Oh, now you guys are quiet. Now you want to be quiet. I guess they're finished chatting. Maybe they're like introverts and they've like expended their social batteries, and now they're recharging. Anyway, as soon as I move away, I'm sure they're gonna start making noise again. Oh, no, there you go. What are you saying? Now they're quiet. Anyway, these are the culprits for the noise in the background, but they're so cute, so we'll let them be. I would like to read my acceptance letter because I feel like it is just such a ray of sunshine in a very strange time of my life right now. Okay, this is kind of a weird way to show the screen, but I'm trying to show it and sort of hide my personal details. But basically it says, on behalf of the Columbia Climate School, We are pleased to offer you admissions as a candidate for the Master of Arts in Climate and Society beginning in fall 2023. This offer recognizes your excellent, I can't see what the other word is. Let me just switch the angle and then I can read it properly. But as you can see, it starts off pretty positive so far. Yeah, so continuing. This offer recognizes your excellent academic record and the confidence in your abilities as a scholar held both by your recommenders and the Columbia faculty. Your application distinguishes you as an outstanding candidate, and we are pleased to offer you a scholarship in the amount of an amount. It's really great news, and I am really excited about it. So this has been the silver lining of everything recently, and I'm just glad to have gotten accepted and also to have gotten this really warm welcome and also to get like this really good scholarship. It definitely pays to apply early. I think that everything happens for a reason and you just have to be open to the possibilities, but also you have to put in effort and try things and be brave, and that's what I'm trying to do. So that is the good news. So I just got a job offer today and I'm gonna start a new role, I think from the 1st of April. So I'm really excited about it. I actually applied to this vacancy in December, maybe January, and now it's like mid-March, so it took quite some time to get to the final stage, but I am there and I got the offer today, so I'm really excited about that and very much looking forward to starting this new position. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Just wanted to share that quick update and more details to come.
They'll tell you exactly what's happening in the area. I always recommend that people have concerns. I live one block over. I've lived here 25 years. I'm very this. You always have issues, but never, nothing that's been, every so often, all that moving on the street and stuff like that. But nothing that happens all the time. Not around here.
So basically, let me tell you about my itinerary for the next few days, starting Saturday. So Saturday, I'm leaving New York in the evening and flying to Amsterdam overnight. And I'll arrive in Amsterdam on Saturday. I'm leaving on Saturday. I'm arriving in Amsterdam on Sunday. And I'll be there, go visit a friend, then hopefully stay with another friend, and then Monday I go for my citizenship ceremony, finally, after living in the Netherlands for 10 years, almost 10 years, and going through the citizenship process for almost 3 years, possibly a little more, maybe even 3.5 years. I am finally wrapping it up and going to the ceremony to get the certificate, so I'm really looking forward to that. Then after the ceremony is done, I'm gonna work a bit and then head to the airport, and then I'm flying to London, which is very unexpected for me because hadn't really 100% knew that I might go to London. I mean, I had an idea that maybe I could do London on this trip just to visit some colleagues in the other office, but I was like, I don't know if it's feasible, the timing is short, the costs, etc., etc. And then I was really struggling to find a decent return flight from Amsterdam to New York, and I actually started seeing better prices and options if I went through London. So that's what I ended up doing, going through London. Really insisted on trying to make this a quick trip, one because I like to be home and sleep in my own bed, but also because it is my birthday on Thursday and I wanted to be home for that. So fortunately, the flights and the timings lined up. Costed a little bit more than I wanted to spend, and also it is a bit more traveling than I intended, so I have an extra flight in between, and then also obviously the effort of heading into London, but you know, it worked out. And all the costs in terms of flights, and you know, I have miles, but I have to buy some extra miles, because if you try to book a ticket from the US to Europe right now, like, good luck. It is peak summertime and the prices are like quite high, so you're better off like buying miles and using that to subsidize the cost of the ticket, because it ends up being a bit less expensive. So even with all of that, the trip from here to Amsterdam to London, and London back to New York is $750, a little bit less, a few dollars less than that, total round trip. So, you know, I'm not mad at it because it's not bad. Definitely I'm a big proponent of using miles to subsidize ticket prices, at least with KLM. So yeah, that is the plan for the next few days, and it sounds tiring, and I know it will be tiring because this is my third trip in the last 3 months, and same route, but this trip is even a bit more effort because of the extra stop in London. But I'm gonna do my best to, you know, just power through it, and you know, by the time I blink next week, this time I'll be getting back home, because it'll be Wednesday night, and I will have, you know, accomplished what I went to do, and I'll be a Dutch citizen. So I'm really looking forward to that, and then the next step is to apply for my passport. So let's see, tonight I'll try to have a semi-early night. For me, an early night is anything between 9 to 11:30, because then I can have at least 7 hours of sleep. That's not so common. Most nights I typically get 6 hours, sometimes less if I'm having a bit of a delay with falling asleep, so let's see. But anyway, I am gonna take my vitamin, take my earrings off. I already changed for my dress, but I need to put on pajamas, and then I'm going to lay down because I am wiped out, like so exhausted. You know, I was not planning to go to London, as I said, but I don't mind. I get to see some friends, and I get to see one of my cousins who's there, which is great. And above all, like, London is pretty cool. You know, it has its charms, so always nice to see it. So yeah, I'll make the best of this trip and get to catch up with people. And yeah, after this, I'm not necessarily planning to go back to Europe anytime soon, if I can sort out all my admin stuff from abroad. And then ideally, any sort of travels would just be me, you know, seeing some other states in the US, because I really would like to do maybe a road trip or two, or just some short haul flights, and yeah, just see some other places besides going back and forth to Europe. Greece is still on my list. I have not visited Greece, and it looks so beautiful, but I guess maybe not this year, but maybe next year. If I'm heading back to Europe, I'm definitely making time for a holiday and spending some time in Greece. So anyway, we'll update when I get my certificate and I'm back and settled in, if not before. That's it.